Welcome back to GearWire.com. My name is Bill Holland, and this is the KX-25 from Yamaha. Notice over here we have 4 assignable controllers, which can also be granted their own assigned parameters beyond the cutoff resonance pan and level controls. We have automatic velocity curve controls, octave, pitch wheel modulation, utility control, ARP edit for the arpeggiator, control templates. If I go here, I can actually select different templates like Jupiter 8V, Analog Factory, the Poly 6 emulator, FM8, Pro 53, which is what we're using right now, so we'll switch over to that. And you'll see I actually had to custom assign these. It did not automatically map to my 53. That's one thing to note about this particular controller, is that it has a hard time auto mapping, so you're going to have to assign all your own controls. But it's pretty easy once you use MIDI Learn to assign them. I'll show you that in a little bit. Now this is a very Cubase-centric controller, which is, I think, in a lot of ways both an advantage in that you have a controller that is geared toward one specific DAW, but it's also a disadvantage because if you try to go into any other program, it has, let's just say, issues with those programs. You can select the VSTI by using the VSTI window control, add instrument track, which will automatically add an instrument track to your Cubase project. There's also controls to scroll between the tracks. And then you have your transport over here, with reverse and fast forward, a repeat button, record, solo, mute, assign 1, and assign 2. If I go over here, you'll see I have utility, which allows me to, in this case, set it to the factory settings, send sysx data. The octave LED control is set here to normal, but I can also reverse it. Display time. If I go up here, there's my MIDI settings. MIDI select, which you can either have it set to MIDI or USB. Program change mode, in this case we're locked on PC. DAW setup, this is very important. Right now it's set to Sonar, but I can switch it back over to Cubase. Or Cubase AI, which is what I'm running right now. And it will allow me to actually use this the way it's meant to be used with Cubase. If I go up here, you'll see program change mode is set to PC and remote now, which will allow me to use this is a remote controller. We have our velocity curve, which you can fix to 100, or set this to hard 1, 2, fixed or normal, or soft. The clock is on in this situation. Sync is set to auto, but you can also set it to internal and external if you have other MIDI gear hooked up. And there's also the ARP tempo, which can be controlled right here. Now let me show you how to assign these knobs real quick for getting customized control out of this controller. Now to correctly map my controls, what I need to do is go over here and hit Enable MIDI Learn, click the control, and then I'll just move the knob for each corresponding control. And then hit Disable MIDI Learn. And now if I play it back, The arpeggiator is really the key reason for buying this controller. This controller is probably the cheapest way to add an arpeggiator to any synth module you might own. Before, the Waldorf Gecko used to be the only option, but now Yamaha has kind of provided a really cheap controller that allows you to very easily add tons of different patterns, all taken from their motif synthesizer. But I'll get to that in the next video where we take a look at arpeggiation with the KX-25 from Yamaha.